So it's like easier, the bar's set really low for anyone who I date in the future to come in and be like a great guy.
I'm having more fun during this time of my life than I've ever had before. I've legitimately never been happier.
So you can either recognize it and embrace it, or you can deny it and pretend it's not happening.
I don't care what anyone says. I don't care that you have tattoos. I don't care that you have a gap between your teeth. Like, I love you for who you are. I'll be like, how you exist? This is crazy.
Before you assume Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce is just another headline romance that happened because the cameras were already waiting. Let me stop you right there, because the real reason Taylor even tried dating him isn't what most people think. It wasn't the fame, it wasn't the hype, and it definitely wasn't because it looked good on paper. If anything, this whole thing started with one move that could have flopped so hard it would have ended the story before it even began. And yet, somehow, that same move is exactly what made Taylor look at him differently. And once you understand why, the entire timeline hits way harder. Now, get ready, because this is the kind of inside feeling story that makes you rewind clips, reread captions, and ask, wait, did they really just do that in public? And yes, some of it is sweet, some of it is chaotic, and some of it is the kind of romantic effort that Taylor fans have been begging to see for years. And before we jump in, if you want more stories like this, make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss any updates, because when this couple does anything, it turns into a whole moment. Here's what Taylor's feelings about Travis really seem to come down to, based on everything that's happened: the effort, the consistency, the willingness to show up, even when showing up brings more attention than silence ever could. And the most interesting part is that the effort didn't start after they were already together. It started before he even had a chance to talk to her. Because remember the whole friendship bracelet situation? Most people tell that story like it's just a cute trivia fact like, he made her a bracelet, isn't that adorable? And then they move on. But if you think about what that actually means, it's not just cute, it's bold, it's risky. It's the kind of move where you either end up looking confident or you end up looking like you tried too hard. And for someone like Travis Kelce, who lives in a world where confidence is everything, that's a big gamble. So picture this properly: July 2023. New Heights podcast. It's supposed to be football talk, brother-to-brother banter, the usual vibe. Travis is talking to his brother Jason Kelce, Philadelphia Eagles legend, just casually, like he always does. And then suddenly, the conversation turns into something that has nothing to do with football stats and everything to do with Taylor Swift. This is where the tone shifts, because Travis isn't speaking like someone performing for a PR moment. He's speaking like someone who's genuinely annoyed that something didn't go the way he hoped. He tells Jason about the friendship bracelet he made for Taylor Swift. Not just any bracelet, one he made specifically for her. And the part that makes everyone's eyebrows go up every single time? He had his number on it. Now pause. Because in the world Taylor lives in, people are constantly trying to get her attention, constantly trying to find a way into her space, constantly trying to stand out. And most of it probably feels noisy, fake, or transactional. So when a guy who doesn't even belong to her industry does something that's oddly old school, like a handmade bracelet with a number, it hits different. It's not a polished DM. It's not a staged run into you at an event. It's almost embarrassing in how direct it is, and that's what makes it feel real. But here comes the twist that made Travis admit he was upset he never got to give it to her. He shows up at the concert ready to do the whole thing, ready for the moment, ready to hand it off after the show, and then he finds out Taylor doesn't do meet and greets before or after performances because she has to protect her voice. And suddenly, his entire plan dies right there. That's the moment that changes the story from smooth athlete shoots his shot to he got blocked by reality. And when Travis says he was upset that Taylor didn't give him attention at first, this is what he means. It wasn't rejection like she said no. It was rejection like you couldn't even get the chance to ask. And that kind of rejection messes with a person, because what do you do with feelings you can't even deliver? Now, here's where the rumor machine starts doing what it always does. As soon as this story becomes public, Travis talking about wanting to meet Taylor, wanting to give her a bracelet, people start whispering. People start connecting dots that aren't even fully drawn yet. And it turns into that classic situation where the internet decides something might be happening before anyone involved confirms anything. But there's another twist in the tale here, because Travis didn't just leave it at a podcast story. Somehow, Taylor gets the message. And that's where curiosity really kicks in, because the obvious question is, how? Taylor Swift isn't just some celebrity who checks every mention and replies to random attempts. Her world is built to filter noise. So when the script says, Taylor receives Travis's message, it instantly makes you wonder what happened behind the scenes. And then you hear this detail. Maybe it took a little push. Maybe it took a moment in the public spotlight where someone else said what thousands of fans were thinking. A Fox sportscaster, Aaron Andrews, publicly pleaded on Travis's behalf. That's the kind of thing that sounds funny, but it also changes the energy, because when a respected public figure makes it playful and public, it almost gives permission for it to be a thing without it feeling creepy or invasive. And once that happens, the story starts shifting from Travis tried to Taylor noticed. Now what makes them so cute, based on the way the story plays out, is that they match each other's commitment level. It may have started with Travis doing the most, but once Taylor steps in, she doesn't half-step it. She shows up in a way that says, if I'm doing this, I'm doing it for real. And that's where September becomes the month that changes everything. Because Travis puts the ball in Taylor's court and then Taylor makes the move that turns the rumor into a full-body moment, she shows up at one of his games. Not in a sneaky way. Not in a maybe she's there, maybe she's not way. She shows up like the ultimate cheerleader. And here's the detail that makes it hit even harder. She's not just there for Travis. She's hanging out with Donna Kelce, Travis's mom. And if you're paying attention, you know what that implies. Meeting someone's mom, sitting with them, laughing with them, especially in a public setting, that's not casual energy. That's not, we're just talking. That's a level of comfort and approval that usually doesn't happen at random. And the game day footage tells the story without even needing words. Donna and Taylor hit it off fast, like they're not forcing conversation, like they're not awkwardly performing politeness. They look like two people who genuinely enjoy each other's company, and that's why fans latched onto it so quickly. Because people can fake romance for a camera, but it's much harder to fake that warm, easy vibe with someone's mother. Then Travis scores a touchdown, and Taylor goes full fan mode, jumping, cheering, reacting like she forgot she's Taylor Swift for a second and just became a person in the moment. And that's where the Taylor at the game clips become addictive, because it's not just that she attended, it's how she attended. It's the fact that she looked like she was actually having fun. But hold on, because the real kicker of that whole game day isn't even the touchdown clip. It's the ranch meme moment. Because out of everything that could possibly go viral from Taylor Swift at an NFL game, her outfit, her reaction, her vibe with Donna, what does the internet become obsessed with? Taylor eating. Specifically, game day footage of Taylor eating fried chicken with ketchup, and the way it becomes a whole online moment complete with a viral post on X. And suddenly, ranch gets pulled into the conversation like it's part of the lore. That's one of those surreal celebrity moments where you realize how the internet works. 1 second you're watching football. The next second you're watching millions of people debate condiments like it's a personality test. And the reason it becomes such a big deal is because it makes Taylor feel oddly normal. Like she's not performing elegance in a VIP suite, she's just eating and enjoying herself. And the more normal she looks, the more people believe the relationship might actually be real, because she doesn't look tense or guarded. She looks relaxed. Now, once that game ends, you'd think the story would calm down, but it doesn't. Because the celebration that follows isn't the grab a beer and go home kind of celebration. Taylor and Travis elevate the whole thing. They celebrate at Prime Social Rooftop in Kansas City, and it turns into this chic, private party vibe where Travis rents out the place. It becomes a whole moment for the crew, Taylor, Travis, and the squad, living like they're in their own bubble, while the entire outside world is trying to peek in through the glass. And if you're watching this timeline, you can't help but ask the obvious curiosity question. How do you even celebrate privately when you're the most watched woman in pop culture and one of the most famous athletes in the country? And that question becomes even bigger once you get to September 27, because Travis goes back on the New Heights podcast and rides the honesty roller coaster again. This time, he doesn't just joke around. He spills details about what happened after that game day reunion with Taylor, and it comes with a reality check. Paparazzi are now sleeping outside his residence. Sleeping outside. Not waiting nearby, not watching the street. Literally camping out, because Taylor Swift's presence changes everything, and that's when you start to realize what Travis is dealing with. The Taylor Swift effect isn't just cute attention, it's a lifestyle shift. It's the kind of attention that rewires your normal routines overnight. But here's what's interesting. Travis can't stop gushing about Taylor showing up. And that tells you something, because a lot of people in that situation would instantly get overwhelmed and complain. They'd talk about how annoying it is, how intrusive it is, how it's too much. Travis acknowledges the chaos, but the tone still comes back to gratitude and excitement, like, the attention is loud, but the support feels louder. Then he reveals something else that matters. The kind words from loved ones. It's one thing for the internet to obsess over Taylor. It's another thing for your own friends and family, your inner circle, to say, she's great. She's lovely. We like her. That kind of approval is quiet but powerful because it suggests she isn't just impressing the world, she's impressing the people who actually know him. But then the story takes a surprising turn. Travis announces the podcast playbook is changing. Going forward, he says it's going to focus on sports. And he explains why, in his own words, he knows he attracted a lot of attention, but the truth is, this is his private life, and he wants to respect both of their lives. Now think about why that hits the way it does. Because it's a boundary. And Taylor Swift's world is a world where boundaries are rare, constantly tested, and often broken by strangers who feel entitled to access. So when Travis publicly sets that boundary, especially after being so open at first, it reads like a sign of maturity. Like he's not trying to milk the moment. He's not trying to keep feeding the internet details for clout. He's choosing to protect something. And that protection becomes another reason people believe Taylor is enamored with him. Because he's not embarrassed to adore her in public. But he's also not reckless with her privacy. Now hold on, because the next major weekend is October 14-15, and this is where the romance crosses into full pop culture spectacle. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce show up at Saturday Night Live. And if you're thinking, okay, celebrities go to SNL all the time, that's true. But the timing of this was everything. Because the NFL had become part of the Taylor conversation, and Taylor had become part of the NFL conversation. Swiftmania had spread so wide that it was impossible not to talk about it, and SNL decided to do what it always does, turn the biggest cultural obsession into a sketch. So an NFL skit happens, highlighting the way the league and the media were reacting to Taylor's presence. And it's funny because it's true, because at that point you couldn't even watch highlights without someone mentioning Taylor in the stands. But then SNL takes it up another level, because Travis and Taylor are actually in the audience. And suddenly, what's supposed to be a parody becomes real life. At the conclusion of the NFL skit, Travis pops up for a cameo. And just like that, the room explodes, social media goes insane, and the entire night becomes another chapter of the Taylor and Travis saga that people can't stop tracking. Then there's another moment that adds fuel to the whole thing. Taylor goes on stage to introduce the musical guest, Ice Spice. And if you've been watching how this story is being told, you notice something. Every time they appear together, it's like the universe hands people a new clip to obsess over, a new angle, a new, did you see that, moment. After the SNL magic, the celebration doesn't stop. There's an after party, and Taylor and Travis are right at the forefront of it, meaning they're not hiding from the spotlight that night. They're moving like they're comfortable being seen. But the NYC adventure continues beyond that. Because the next day, there are those comfortable hand-holding pictures that go viral online. And this is where the conversation shifts into something that people take way too seriously in the most entertaining way possible. Body language specialists start analyzing them. Are they just posing for cameras? Or does it look like real closeness, real comfort, real chemistry? And what people keep coming back to is the way they look together. Not stiff, not staged, not tense. More like two people who are used to each other's presence. Then you get this insider scoop detail that plays like a movie scene. Travis tells Taylor's security man to move aside, my friend, like he's stepping into full knight in shining armor mode. And the reason that detail sticks is because it paints Travis as protective in a very specific way. Not possessive, not controlling, just confident, like he wants to create space for Taylor to move normally, even in a world that won't let her be normal. Now, you'd think at this point the story has peaked. But the script takes it into another direction on October 18th, and suddenly it's not about parties or appearances. It's about real estate. It's about privacy. It's about building a physical space that matches the emotional space they're trying to create. Because according to the script, Travis makes a massive move, paying around $6 million for a brand new property in Kansas City, an upgrade meant to become a private paradise once the paparazzi craze reaches a level that makes normal life impossible. And if you're watching this story unfold, you can't help but ask, is this just an athlete buying a nice place? Or is this a deliberate, I'm building a sanctuary move? The script frames it like this. The new mansion isn't just a residence. It's a stronghold, a fortress, a place designed to defend their love from the continual spotlight. And whether you agree with the framing or not, you can understand why it becomes part of the romance narrative. Because when the outside world gets louder, the inside world has to get safer. And if Taylor is used to feeling watched everywhere she goes, then a partner who thinks about that, who takes it seriously, stands out. Now, the story circles back to another reason Taylor seems to love him, the way he respects her privacy in public, even when people try to force him into revealing more. Reporters ask him personal questions. They push for emotional answers. They try to get him to say, I'm in love on camera because they know it would be a headline for weeks, and Travis plays it cool. When asked directly about love, he smiles and says he will continue to keep his personal relationship personal. That's the kind of answer that sounds simple, but it's actually a choice. It's him refusing to turn the relationship into content for strangers. It's him refusing to hand over something that belongs to them. And then there's the part about Taylor attending upcoming games. Because every time there's a game, the question comes up. Will she be there? Is she coming? What does it mean if she's not? Travis dodges the trap like a pro. He laughs and says something along the lines of how everyone knows she's at the game. And then the Vegas line and the over-under on his catches goes up and down, so he doesn't want to mess with any of that. And that line matters for two reasons. One, it's funny. Two, it shows he understands how the relationship has become part of the sports narrative, how even betting odds react to her presence. And instead of feeding the chaos, he lightly shuts it down. Now, while all this is happening, Travis keeps hitting career milestones. And one of the biggest mentioned in the script is the Germany game, the Chiefs beating the Miami Dolphins, and Travis emerging as the Chiefs' all-time top receiver. That's a huge accomplishment. And here comes another subtle but important part of the story. Taylor isn't there physically, but she's still there. Because even from a distance, she shows support. And yes, in the world of celebrity gestures, liking a post might sound like nothing. But when Taylor Swift likes and posts about something, especially something tied to Travis, people notice because she's not known for casually doing that for everyone. The script frames it as something she has never done before in this way, which is why it becomes a huge issue online. She presses the heart button, and the internet reads it like a love letter. Is that dramatic? Maybe. But that's how these stories work. Small gestures become massive signals when the person doing them is someone the entire world watches. Now we move into one of the most cinematic chapters of this whole saga, Argentina. The atmosphere is already buzzing because Taylor is on stage, and her shows are already huge events on their own. But then she throws a curveball during Karma. She changes the lyrics, and she gives Travis a shout-out in the most Taylor way possible. Not by doing an interview, not by issuing a statement, not by naming him in a press release, by weaving him into a lyric on a stage where the whole crowd is listening. The updated line goes, "Karma is the guy on the Chiefs coming home to me." And the crowd goes insane because that one line isn't just cute, it's public, it's deliberate. It's a message that says, yes, he's mine, yes, I'm proud, yes, I'm claiming this in my own language. And this is where the romance takes center stage like a love film. Because after the show, Taylor doesn't just walk off stage and disappear. She runs, she leaps into Travis's waiting arms. And they kiss deeply, passionately, the kind of kiss that doesn't look like it's for anyone else but them, even though it's captured and shared everywhere. And the script also mentions they had dinner together that evening before the moment, almost like the night had its own build-up, like it wasn't just show ends, kiss happens. It was an entire evening of being together, leading into a payoff that felt like the final scene of a romantic episode. Taylor's poetic gesture, the lyric, change, clearly hits Travis hard. Because later he reacts to the surprise line and says, "It blew me away." And that quote lands because it shows he's not numb to it. He's not acting like it's normal for the biggest pop star in the world to change lyrics for you in front of a stadium. He's still shocked by it, still touched, still taking it in like a fan would. Now, the story ends on a note that makes people feel warm for a reason, family. Because the script frames this relationship as more than two people dating. It frames it like two worlds blending in a cozy way, like the Swifts and the Kelces aren't just spectators, they're involved, present, and supportive. It feels like one big loving hug. And that's why people keep watching. Because the most powerful part of this entire saga isn't just the viral clips. It's the pattern underneath them. Travis puts in effort from the beginning. Taylor responds with commitment. They show up for each other in public without oversharing the parts that should stay private. And every time the world tries to turn it into a circus, they create another moment that feels strangely sincere. So what do you think was Taylor's real reason for trying dating Travis? Exactly what it looks like? The effort, the protection, the pride, the consistency? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, hit subscribe and the bell so you don't miss the next update. Because if this story has taught us anything, it's that every time you think the chapter is over, another moment shows up that nobody saw coming.